Hello everyone, Anoch Alice is my name and I'm a level 200 student at the University of Education, Winneba, majoring in history. Today, I'm excited to talk about the key concepts of gender in Africa. Gender and culture are detailed, connected to cultural richness or continent diversity, influencing how gender roles are understood and practiced. Let's dive into the main ideas or key concepts of gender and culture in Africa. Let's talk about cultural diversity. Article 1 of the UNESCO Universal Declaration on Cultural Diversity states, culture takes diverse forms across time and space. The diversity is embodied in the uniqueness and plurality in the identities of the groups and societies making up humankind. Hence, Africa is made up of numerous cultures, languages, and traditions, which means that gender roles and expectations vary greatly across different regions. For example, what may be common in one society may be entirely different in another. Let's talk about gender roles.
Another key concept is gender roles. Let's talk about women roles. Women in many African societies have been responsible for domestic duties such as cooking, child-rearing, and household management. However, women have also had significant roles in agriculture, politics, and religious leadership, and historical examples of powerful female figures.
Also, men roles. In many African cultures, men are seen as the primary providers and protectors of the family. This role is tied to economic and social expectations. It mostly creates pressure on men, especially during times of hardship. Another point is intersectionality. Gender interacts with other factors like class, ethnicity, age, and location to create complex dynamics. For example, urban women may have different challenges and opportunities compared to those in rural areas, and gender inequality often intersects with issues of poverty and race. Let's take gender and sexuality as one key point. Views on gender and sexuality differs across the continent. While some African cultures have historically recognized non-binary genders, such as two-spirit roles, contemporary attitudes tend to be more conservative, especially regarding same-sex relationships. Globalization and changing norms. Globalization is reshaping gender roles in Africa. Education, technology, and migration offer new opportunities for both men and women to redefine their roles and assert their rights in a rapidly changing world. This is also another point or another key concept of gender in Africa. Also, patriarchy. Many African societies are patriarchal, where men often hold dominant positions in the family, social, and political spheres. However, gender roles are not uniform across the continent, with some cultures being matrilineal or featuring more gender equal structures.
Furthermore, modern gender movements. In recent years, feminist and gender equality movement has gained momentum across Africa, addressing issues like gender-based violence, economic inequality, and the underrepresentation of women in politics. Women's rights have become a key part of the broader push of gender equality.
Also, gendered labor. Gender often defines specific responsibilities in farming, trade, and family businesses. Men and women tend to have distinct roles in work, which affects their social and economic status. Globalization and changing norms. Globalization is reshaping gender roles in Africa. Education, technology, and migration offer new opportunities for both men and women to redefine their roles and assert their rights in a rapidly changing world. Moreover, matrilineality and patrilineality is one key concept. Some African societies follow a matrilineal system where descent, inheritance, and family lineage is passed through the mother, giving women more influence. Other societies are patrilineal, where men control lineage and inheritance. Last but not the least, traditional beliefs and religion. Religious and cultural beliefs shape gender roles with African traditional religions, often assigning specific roles to men and women in rituals and ceremonies. Christianity and Islam also influence gender expectation in different ways depending on their interpretations.
Lastly, colonial influence. A key author who examined colonial influence on gender and culture in Africa is Ife Amediome. In her book, Male Daughter, Female Husband, Gender and Sex in African Society 1987, she argues that colonialism imposed rigid Western gender norms on African societies, which disrupted indigenous social structure that had previously allowed for more fluid and flexible gender roles.
Therefore, colonialism altered gender dynamics by imposing European patriarchal structure, limiting the roles of women in public political life. In conclusion, these concepts highlight that gender in African cultures is not static, but evolves in response to historical, social, and global shifts. Thank you.